Let's move it down the line. Let's go to Louisville and Notre Dame. This one's next up on the docket on Peacock at 2:30. Notre Dame Stadium with Touchdown Jesus in attendance. Who wins this game and why? JP, break it down for us.
Yeah, this one screams interesting to me because we saw Louisville against a team with a pulse last week with Georgia Tech, and I think they handled it pretty well, right? Like, it wasn't flashy. It wasn't anything crazy. They just kind of handled business, did their thing. Notre Dame, on the other hand, is just, I feel like, hasn't hit a gear that people thought possible. Apparently, the social media world and the message board world did not love Riley Leonard right now, wearing the golden helmet. There are things in this game that I think just don't make sense. One of them being the line. I truly think Louisville is a better football team than Notre Dame right now. Now, I understand the difference and kind of how good Notre Dame is along the front four as well as the secondary in some spots. But I think Tyler Shuck, when they've gotten going, Brom's been able to scheme things open for him and really make things easier on him. They're going to have a real test against that Notre Dame secondary when they've really had one guy through the air that's been a true weapon for him. They also have like 5 guys above anywhere from 12 to 19 carries, all of them with a touchdown. I understand some of that might be in garbage time, but they don't have a true running back that they love right now at Louisville. I think it's a okay offensive line. That might be the issue, but the defense, I think, is good enough to make Notre Dame one-dimensional and really key on Riley Leonard and tell him to beat him over the top. And until he does so, I can't imagine that anybody's too scared of handling that. Notre Dame has had its faults against the run game. So that's kind of what worries me, is even if that front four is good, like, there are some things that happened. Northern Illinois found a way to kind of stay on it. I think Brom will find something that works and really makes it tough on him. Riley Leonard is not necessarily, I don't think, in danger of losing his job in this situation or throughout this season. But I do think it's kind of time to like find a way to get this offense going in some way. And it just seems odd. If you remember last year, Notre Dame went down to Louisville after a couple of tough ones. They got pumped. I'm sure they had that on their mind. I think that's fine because Brom's found a way to keep this team outside of the pit game last year. Like, I think they'll be ready to go, understanding this is your first big test. You got to kind of prove your worth here with your ranking and what you are in the ACC. So 6.5, it seems like a lot. I understand that the home field's probably 3 of that. So, I mean, I kind of think Louisville's like a 3, should be a pick 'em in this spot. Like, I don't have power ratings. I obviously would have it differently than this, but I do like Louisville in this spot. And that's not a homerism pick. That's just I don't think Notre Dame is ready for this situation. It's not. You can't tell me right now. You can't tell me and look at me and tell me Notre Dame's that much 7 points better than Louisville.
I mean, I don't really know what.
I don't give a shit where they are. They lost to NIU at home. They could be on fucking Mars.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't really know.
Them at home is what makes it so much bigger. If it was a neutral site, I think it's a little less.
I just don't think they're scared of that offense. I think they can make them so one-dimensional.
They are one-dimensional. They don't have to make it that. They are a one-dimensional offense. I think this is the only offense in college football right now that scored 66 points 2 weeks ago that you're like, man, I don't know about that offense. You don't see that a lot, but they run the football so well. They just can't throw it. We haven't seen it from Riley Leonard through the air. That's why the fan base is where they're at. But I think the fan base also understands how big this matchup is. We want to talk about coaches that have teams ready to play in games like this. Jeff Brom's one of them. This is the same head coach that rolled into Iowa when they were on top of the world, JP, and that team took it to them. I mean, so this team's going to be ready to play. They don't care about a tough environment. I really do think I see more from Louisville's defense handling a good running team and a good running quarterback in Haynes King and Georgia Tech higher than what I've seen from Notre Dame the last few weeks, including the piss pumping of Purdue. Jake, your thoughts?
I just don't understand. We talk about how Notre Dame is one-dimensional. Are we sure Louisville's not one-dimensional? Like,
they might have but it's been more balanced. I understand like the quality of opponent's different, but it ain't that much different.
They haven't shown the ability to really run the ball that much, and they haven't really played anybody besides Georgia Tech.
But Notre Dame's played Purdue. Okay,
you're right. In
that's what I'm saying.
The Northern Illinois
A&M,
Northern Illinois losses, it's indefensible. I understand that.
I'm not using.
I understand it, Jordan.
I know. I think Notre Dame's going to have a big game from both running backs, from Love and Price. Riley Leonard looked rough in the first half. I mean, we can't even make a simple third grade roll out to your right, dump it off to the tight end throw. But then he made a nice throw down the seam to Bo Collins. So did he figure it out in one half? Probably not, but maybe it's something he can build off of. I don't know much about the Louisville defense. I think Jeff Brom historically has had underrated defenses. They could be good. They got Gelati or the defensive end there, and they're going to put some pressure on Leonard, which is going to be good for them. But I'm not sold on it yet. I don't know if I have it yet. I don't know if that pass defense is any good, which could be benefit to a struggling Riley Leonard right now. And then on the other side, I love the matchup with Notre Dame's secondary versus the passing attack that this Louisville offense brings. I think that's just the most fascinating matchup of the game. Big game mark, this isn't a MAC school. Florida State looks terrible. This is the biggest home game of the year for Notre Dame. I think it's something you got to get up for, and I do think that they're going to be ready for it.
Do they play at USC to end the year, or is that at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
At USC.
I would definitely agree there. Then, Reese, any thoughts on this matchup?
Shay brings up a great point at the end. I think when you're looking at Tyler Shough, like, you're a veteran quarterback. This guy knows how to play a game, especially going on the road too. So if they're able to keep him upright and especially keep him healthy, then I like them in the spot too. When you talk about that Louisville defense, I mean, they held Georgia Tech, who's a pretty solid run team, and they're pretty solid offensive line. They held them to under 100 rushing yards last week. So if you're able to minimize that Notre Dame offense and what they want to do, then I think, you're going to find a little bit more success and force Riley Leonard to do things he hasn't been great at this year so far. So, like you guys have also said, I think Louisville's kind of been a little bit better of a spot. The spread is, I think, a little bit bigger. So I like Louisville in the spot to cover that number, but I still wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame wins this game or whoever wins this game. So
kick us off, Reese. Who wins the game? Who covers? What's the score?
I'm gonna take Louisville in this spot. I think they're gonna go win this ball game. I'll take them 27-23.
Wow. Okay. So a huge win on the road there. Let's go down to Jake. Jake, you do have a little bit of homerism floating around. I don't think we can let that slide.
Like accusations were flying.
Jake does like Notre Dame. He is a de facto Notre Dame fan, so we will throw that out there. It's a little bit of a tainted thought process here. But give me your thoughts, Jake.
Don't give all my secrets away for our new listeners. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Give me the Irish. Give me the Irish to win. Give me the Irish to cover. I just don't know if I've ever seen Tyler Shough win a game by himself, and I think he's going to have to on Saturday on the road. I'm not that big of a believer in him. He'll prove me wrong, I guess. But yeah, give me Notre Dame.
If there's any coach in the country that will prove you wrong on saying something like that, it's not going to be the quarterback. It's going to be Jeff Brom. Let's get thoughts from JP. Who wins it? Who covers?
I think Louisville wins this one. I'll go tighter and lower scoring. I believe this total is a low 40s. Give me a 24-17 one. I think it's just gritty. It's ugly. It's like an old school backyard brawl here. So
as much as I can hate on the Notre Dame offense, I will say their defense is still up there in the country. I mean, it's still an elite defensive back group. I do think this game's going to be slow. Notre Dame might get off to a hot start, and I don't know if Louisville is going to be able to catch up. So I do like Notre Dame to win the game. However, I do like Louisville to cover. I got 21-17, the Fighting Irish winning at home. I think that's a good spot. They can slow it down with all the run game that is going to be on the field. 21-17 is where I have it. So that is Louisville and Notre Dame.